Hi, and welcome to the Paper Bunny. Today we'll be talking about why, even after 3 years and 4 notebooks later, why I'm migrating my bullet journal from the Leuchtturm 1917 to the Stalogy. This time, I'm letting you in on my script. Okay? So, why I'm migrating from the Leuchtturm 1917 to the Stalogy. Now, here's the thing. In those 3 years I've been using the Leuchtturm, it's been able to adjust with all the planning changes I made. However, in the past, I'd say maybe year and a half, my changes have been so drastic that while the Leuchtturm can keep up, it's kind of not doing the best at its job, right? So it's like it can do the job, but it's not fit for the job. So first we'll be going over those changes, which prompted me to consider changing a notebook. And then we'll talk about why I chose the Stalogy as a better fit for purpose. So when I started bullet journaling, it was more of to keep track of tasks at work. Yeah, this would be very typical of my bullet journal, where we would only have to-do lists for weekdays. However, one big change is that I started tracking my personal tasks as well. So here we have, there we go, we have a Saturday entry. And then here we have Sunday, and that goes through Monday. So even though that's a whole list, it's mostly work. It does have some personal tasks in there as well. So that's one big change I started this year. Another change is, and I think you got a preview of it already, is that I started incorporating art into my bullet journal. Before, my bujo was nothing more but a glorified to-do list. So let's go through a few examples. This one was a washi collage. This one was watercolors and colored pencil. Yeah. And then here we have, oh, of course, Folktale Week. So this is mixed media, mostly washies. Yeah. So you would have never seen these in my old bujos. And then, finally, one big change I started incorporating. And to be honest, I only started doing this like towards later this year. Yeah. Is that I started incorporating wet media. It started off with watercolors. Those are like the three big changes I've started doing this year that the Leuchtturm just can't seem to handle anymore. And so that made me shop around for a new bujo notebook. And that's when I started considering getting the Stalogy. So why the Stalogy? And in particular, Stalogy comes in multiple sizes. This is the Stalogy B6. And that's because the very first reason is the size. So the Leuchtturm 1917 is an A5 size. Now, since I started doing my to-do lists every single day, including personal, not just work, I kind of had this awkward size where A5 is a bit too big for one page a day. And while it can fit 2 days in one page, it only kind of works when I don't have a lot to do that day, such as on weekends. On other days, it's kind of awkward. So you have this Monday and Tuesday fit in one page, but then Wednesday and Thursday don't fit on one page. Yeah. I thought about using the next size down, which is an A6. However, it's still a bit awkward. So it's like A5 is too big, A6 is too small, and that's what made me look into this Goldilocks size, which is a B6. Next reason why I'm moving from the Leuchtturm to the Stalogy is the number of pages. So the Leuchtturm only has, I don't know if you can see that, 251 pages. So if we take away the index page and maybe monthlies, it probably only has 240-ish usable pages, which is annoying because that means every time I bujo, the notebook would always be less than a year, which is no different from what I'm doing now. I really hate that awkward transition phase when I'm switching between notebooks because I always have to carry around both my old and current bujo. This is 251 pages. This tiny thing is 365 pages because yes, the Stalogy is designed to be a daily notebook for 1 year. If you do dailies, one thing you will struggle with, or at least I struggle with, is motivation. So let's look at an example. This is December 17, December 18, which is daily, right? And then we jumped on to December 22 and then December 27. So I've been skipping days, and it's easy to say that it's because of Christmas, but no, this has always been the case. Especially when it started getting worse. I think around late October. Yeah, so I've been struggling with motivation to plan over the last couple of months. And funnily enough, I've noticed in myself that if I could just make myself write the date, if I could just find the energy to write the date, I find that I could plan. It's just starting that's really hard. And so I wanted to make it easier on future Dana by getting myself a dated planner. And so for a while, I considered getting a typical dated planner like the Hobonichi or the Jibun Techo. However, one problem with that is I do a lot of notes. So here's a typical example. I have meeting notes here for Friday. Actually, I have a bunch of meeting notes in Friday. And then oh yeah, here we have an example where I attended a workshop, and so I took down notes. And then, and then here we have my very messy storyboarding for this video. Yeah, so I typically do those on my bujo as well. So while I want to have the convenience of a dated planner, I also wanted to have the flexibility of an undated planner so that I can make notes on it as needed. And that's where the Stalogy comes in. So on the upper right side of each page of the Stalogy, we have dates which you just need to encircle or highlight. And that's already the date for that page. It's kind of like an optional dated planner, if you will. So that fits into my use case perfectly. And actually, even smaller than that, if you look into the left side of the page, there's actually a it's from 7 to 23 in case you wanted to schedule your day, which is something I tend to do on weekends. For example, I like to time block. Yeah, so you have the flexibility of doing that as well, or you can just ignore that altogether and just use it as a plain notebook. So third reason why I'm switching from the Leuchtturm to the Stalogy, the flexibility between a dated and an undated planner. And then finally we have, what's my last reason? Oh yeah, paper. So I kind of implied that already when I talked about art and wet media, but the Leuchtturm, obviously a great writer of a notebook, but in terms of wet media, not so much. And I heard, and I'm hoping it's true, that the Stalogy is better for wetter media such as watercolor and ink. So that's another reason why I'm switching notebooks. And that's it. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!